Hey, what is up you guys? MKSTVNS here. I'm running a test of all of my things. I'm probably talking too loud actually for my mic, but I can probably adjust that in post after. I don't even know what software I'm going to use yet to edit my videos. I run a Mac, so I guess it could be Final Cut Pro. It could be Premiere, which thankfully I have a subscription to through my day job, so hopefully work won't mind me using it for extracurricular activities. It might even be as simple as Premiere Rush, which is a pretty effective tool, although I don't know how well it works with graphic overlays and things like that and multiple video tracks. If it's not obvious, I don't know anything about editing videos, but that's the journey. So I thought right now I would talk a little bit. I don't even intend to publish this video, but who knows, maybe in a few years. All the same, I thought I would talk about what's been going on. So I'll roll aside. I wonder if it will focus down the back there. I've been cleaning up the back corner of my room to present a vaguely appealing, you can't really see it while I'm talking to camera, so maybe I'll work on the position of the camera or the position of the things. I could move the shelves to there, but I guess we will make that call. The camera is probably further away as well than I intend to have it. It's just sitting right now on my drawing drawers. I've got all of my drawing tools, pencils and so on in a little set of drawers there. In fact, you can have a look. Why don't you see what's going on at this end? Oh, and some deodorant. So that's cool. Still tracking me? Looks like it is. Cool. I've been cleaning. I've been setting up some whatever lights I had around the house basically. I've got a little work site construction light down there glowing out the back corner of my study, which is pretty effective, I think, but it burns very hot because it's an old school globe and intended for a construction site, so outdoors. It's pretty warm in here. And I've got a nice little lantern over there in the corner that you can't see, but that's hopefully casting a little bit of light at me. My work monitor's here as well. Obviously there's lots of things I could do in here. I don't have any acoustics going on at the moment, but it may be that with the mic here on my chest, it's fine. I guess I won't really know unless I actually get some acoustic paneling, and I might discover that it was the best thing I ever did, but only time will tell. Another thing I'm experiencing at the moment or learning is that it's really hard to not look at the little flip out screen on my camera, and in fact I learned that that is why Super Saf and Casey Neistat, two very well-known bloggers in their individual spheres, that's why they wear mirrored glasses, because they can't stop themselves looking at their monitor to see themselves and how they're presenting. I'm filming on a Sony ZV-1 or ZV-1 if you prefer. That's a very recent acquisition. I sold my RX100V to get this. I bought the RX100V after actually returning an RX106, I think it was, because I didn't realize that the focal, that the f-stop had been changed. Is that focal length? I don't really understand this aspect of photography, but that had been changed to f2.8. and just wasn't suitable for creating that nice background blur that you get with the RX100 Mark V, which is f1.8. But in fact, on the Sony ZV-1, which is made for vloggers, it has a thing called, I don't actually know what it's called, a background blur effect, essentially. And it's not, I think it might be a little bit of software involved, but it is actually mostly hardware based, playing with the aperture and so on to get that effect, which is different to the iPhone and Android phones, which are all doing that through extremely intelligent software. But if you've seen those phones do that, you'll notice that occasionally if you've got your arm like this section here, the background that you can see through the arm isn't blurred, and it just ruins the whole effect. Or if you've got wild hair, you can see unblurred background through the strands of hair. So it's not, that edge effect is not always perfect. Fantastic if you're bald. I'm not, so not great for me. However, this is mostly mechanical, perhaps a little bit of software, so it is a great effect. It also has another really cool feature, Product Showcase, which I have turned on at the moment, and that was developed for vloggers that review products, whether it be makeup vloggers or tech vloggers. I don't expect I'll be doing a lot of makeup vlogging or reviewing, but I'll probably do a fair bit of tech reviewing, certainly the stuff that I buy. Ain't nobody throwing tech at me yet for reviewing, so we'll see, or ever. But I do have a bad habit of buying new tech, so I'll probably have a little bit of stuff here and there to review. So here's an example of Product Showcase in action. It's immediately focused on my AirPods Pro and blurred me out. And my understanding, because I'm not a videographer, cinematographer, filmmaker, my understanding is that if you use manual focus and manual tools, as a lot of these big time guys do, that's it's a very fixed focus. And if you move too much front or back, the auto tracking will keep me, but apparently you've actually got to cover your face like this, something like that, to do it with, say, a Sony a6600 or a a7 III, etc. And I don't need to do that. Those obviously shoot much higher quality video and offer a much greater extent of editing capability in post-production after. I don't need that ability. I think that the quality of this video is going to be good enough, and I hope whoever ends up viewing this video arrives at the same conclusion, but we'll see. And in fact, right now I'm fairly certain I'm only filming in HD, in 1080. So I'm not even filming this in 4K. If you, for some reason, would like to see me in 4K, can't recommend that truer than life appearance, but maybe we could make that work. But my MacBook is not the most high-end. It is a MacBook Pro. It's got, I think, 16 gig of RAM, but look, obviously not a powerhouse. It's a 2018 model. Obviously not a powerhouse, so I think if I just focus on editing 1080, that's probably going to be a hard enough slog as it is. So we'll see how all of that goes. In the meantime, what have I ordered? I've ordered a Bowling P1 LED light unit, which appears incredible from all the reviews that I've seen, the options that it has and the effects that it can do. Obviously, as an RGB light, it can change through all the colors of the spectrum, but it can also imitate lightning flashes or police, ambulance, fire, lights, flashes in the background. Which is pretty cool. Can't imagine I'm ever going to use those, but you never know that. I don't think those features are intended for somebody like me. But just being able to go through various temperatures of color is a pretty cool feature. And I imagine I will sit that somewhere close to the camera. Normally something like that would be affixed to the top of the camera, depending on what you're doing. If you're in a studio, it doesn't need to be. But it has the ability to fit into the hot shoe, which is atop the camera. Right now I have got a Rode Wireless Go receiver sitting in that hot shoe so that it can be plugged into the side of my camera. It doesn't need to be in the hot shoe to be plugged in. It's just a convenient place to have it. Again, most convenient when you're on the move. That wireless Go receiver and mic were a gift from my friends for my birthday very recently. I had intended to get this unit, and it's quite funny, I'd actually been researching alternatives that were either perhaps a little bit more affordable or maybe more capable in some way. And one of the friends that had organised this as a gift was really sort of sly in trying to talk me out of considering any alternatives. He was like, no, you told me all about the Rode Wireless Go. It sounds like that's really the one you want. And he finished up with, anyway, don't make any decisions. Who knows what the week will bring? And the next thing I know, I think they all went into panic mode and one of them quickly dropped it off on my doorstep in a contactless delivery. And the next thing I know, I had the amazing Rode Wireless Go. It's so simple to use, plug and play directly into the camera, which incidentally is another thing I couldn't do with the RX105 and a good reason to trade up or sideways to the Sony ZV-1. So one of a number of features that I'm absolutely stoked to have. Right now I've just got it clipped to my chest. I do have a lavalier mic on the way, which is obviously, therefore I could put this mic unit on my belt or wherever and run the lav mic through my shirt and just clip that on. I'm not fussed. The lav mic would be obviously very handy. It's harder to see. But I don't mind having this clipped here either. But it's good to have those options anyway. Funnily enough, Rode do offer a sort of, well, they offer a magnet plate that can go on your top, and then it slips over the little clip on the back of the mic, and then you can wear it underneath your top, so that I guess you would have a button or undone or the zip down a little bit. I don't know what the audio quality would be like, but I suppose if Rode is making that available as an official accessory, then presumably the audio quality would be quite good through my shirt. This is accidentally turning into a review of the Rode Wireless Go, but one of the other upsides is that it has a 70-meter line of sight reach for the receiver to the mic. Again, who knows if I will ever need that, and it's really easy to get in the way of a line of sight connection, especially the further away you get, but cool to know that that is a capability. I intend to do some video with friends down the road once this lockdown is finished, if it ever finishes. And to do that, I can actually buy, I think it's an amp. It clips into the hot shoe in the top there, and then you can attach 2 Wireless Go receivers either side and connect both of those in. And they'll have their own little individual volume gain dials, and then 2 people can wear a mic each, and they're both feeding into the camera, I think as left and right channels, and then you play with those in edit. That's only things that I've seen in review videos. I haven't done that yet, or much video editing at all, so who knows if that would add a layer of complexity that I might want to avoid, but that's the video life, right? I do have a bit of experience with editing photos in my job as an automotive journalist. You are expected to be a bit of an all-rounder in modern media. So hopefully my experience in Photoshop and graphic design in Illustrator will all lend itself to either using Premiere Pro or at least figuring out something like Final Cut Pro. And I'm sure you're all laughing at me right now, and that's fine. I can live with that. Just be kind in the comments, please. That's pretty much everything that I've got so far. I mentioned what I'd ordered, a Bowling P1. I've also ordered one of the Aperture or M something. It's the new one that's been released relatively recently. A little bit cheaper than the Bowling, smaller, not as powerful, but with a really cool app that, what I gather from reviews, puts it a step ahead of the Bowling in terms of its capabilities and connectivity and so on. And I believe you can almost quite immediately sync multiple of the Aperture lights into the app and have immediate hands-free control. Well, not hands-free, hands on the app. But you can therefore set the lights up around your studio or your filming space and edit the lighting immediately. They have effects as well. It seems like you can sort of create a glowing effect and things like that from the app on your phone, and then it will recreate those from the light itself, which is pretty cool. I have the official Sony vlogging remote control tripod thingy-mabobby, sort of the vlogger hand grip that folds out into a tripod. I've got that on the way. It was meant to arrive this week actually, and then I would have been using that on the camera right now. And I've also got a Joby GorillaPod on the way, but only the 1 kilo model, because this is a very, very lightweight camera with a plastic body. And I saved a few bucks in getting the lighter weight tripod. So that's pretty cool too. Which means that realistically I could mount the camera a little bit closer to me and actually use the tripod as a remote. Don't necessarily need to. I haven't used it, but Sony also offers a mobile phone app that allows you to sync with the camera and control the camera from your phone. Haven't tried that. My phone is sitting here right in front of me, so I guess that would be an equally cool feature. But obviously just some more dedicated hard controls for the camera would be pretty handy nonetheless. That's most things. I've also got a nice desk pad coming. A very, very good friend of mine is soon, hopefully soon, going to be building a top-down filming rig for me, so that when I'm reviewing items or anything really, it will be right above looking down. And of course with the flip-out monitor on the camera, I'll be able to just look up and see how that's going. I could even play with them if I'm coordinated enough, be playing with them and watching up here at the same time. Remains to be seen. I'm not very good at shooter games, and I'm probably not coordinated enough to do that either, but we'll see. That's pretty much everything. I need to now avoid rambling, but I have spent most of the weekend cleaning my little study here at home. I'm very lucky to have a study all to myself. Of course, in lockdown, my children are home and they're home all day and all night. So it's pretty hard to find a time to shoot without them popping up in the background. But do you know what? I feel like if BBC journalists and political correspondents can handle having their kids burst in through the door, I guess I can too. And hopefully that won't bother you. Bit of slice of reality, maybe that's somehow desirable in some way. That's everything there. My name is Mike Stevens. I didn't say at the head, but if you're watching on my channel, you will already know that because I'm very lucky to have youtube.com/Mike Stevens, which I think I landed because I was a Google Plus user and I had to register a Google Plus URL, web address, and I got Mike Stevens because I was, one of the 5 people in the whole world using Google Plus at the time. And that was the first time I'd ever gotten Mike Stevens as a username online. My username on most social media platforms is Mike Does Life, or one word, Mike Does Life. So if you're trying to track me down on Twitter to abuse me for this terrible video that I'm filming, that's where you can find me. I don't have Mike Stevens. Quite sadly, on Twitter, the username Mike Stevens, the gentleman that owned that, passed away recently, so I tried to send my sympathies to his family. I had tried in the past to get the username Mike Stevens from him, even to discuss a price to get it, because I was very keen at the time. I love Twitter, but he wouldn't give it up. And I regret to say that one drunken night I actually hurled some lightweight abuse at him on Twitter, because he doesn't even tweet. He almost never, well, clearly he doesn't anymore, he has left us. But he was not a regular tweeter at all. So I was like, you're not even using your Twitter account, give it to me. And funnily enough, he'd replied, and credit to him, he'd replied to say, if you'd been a little more polite, I would have been prepared to discuss it. In my defense, I had tried in years past to politely discuss it with him and he wouldn't respond. So I think he might have just been enjoying an opportunity to get the upper hand on somebody that let their temper get away from them. I regret that, especially that was my last interaction with him. And I don't know if you've ever experienced having a less than ideal interaction with somebody before they shuffle off this mortal coil and you spend a fair amount of your remaining life regretting that. Thankfully, that's the only time that's happened to me. But all the same, my sympathies to his family. He was well known in his part of the US. I don't recall where he's from. Worked in the printing industry and was, by all accounts, a beloved member of his community. So I hope that his family, it's been a few years now, but I hope that his family are doing well in the time since he's gone. I'm definitely rambling now, but I'm also having a little bit of fun practicing my presenting to camera. I've done a little bit for work, a couple of car videos. Did an Audi RS4 review and a Tokyo Motor Show video and a couple of other ones. Very privileged job being a motoring journalist. If you can get the gig and if you're into cars, I highly recommend it. I'm very, very happy in the job that I've got. But in the meantime, that is everything. The next time you see from me, hopefully I will be, I think I will make this video public. I don't know, tell me if it went okay. Maybe I'll delete it after. But hopefully the next time you see me on video, I will be a little better equipped. More lights, a proper tripod, maybe some better lights on actual stands instead of just sitting around the place. That's pretty much everything. I hope that went well. That was a